the grand finale of This American Dice Presents Ryoko Owari, The City of Lies.
I don't know what role this should be, but I want it to be a role. How much have people within the city heard about what these, how much can they actually get information-wise from what this mob is claiming has happened to them? What should be the role for that? Because this is the mob of people whose children have been stolen by Oni no Ishi.
Let's say, citizens are, kind of susceptible to, demon rumors.
Yeah.
Well, especially, demonic rumors because of my speech.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I think that there is a, okay, then this sounds like it's a defy danger situation, but it could also be maybe an because it's the issue of, how...
Are we kind of define the danger of the city,
the city?
rioting?
I think the city freaking out about this stuff / the additional thing of the description of it of Oni no Ishi specifically coming out.
It wasn't
because that then makes Ishi a target of that specifically.
Ishi was also called out for being a demon during the duel.
Right, but theoretically he proved he was not.
Oh,
yeah, and so
shout it out to a bunch of people, just not you guys.
Yeah.
But no, all's well in Ishi.
To say, there's a lot of demonic,
so
occurrences.
I think there's definitely the threat of, and I think this is more of the issue of you would be making a role more for what has just occurred in the city than even necessarily you could prevent. Like the Thunder Guard are dealing with this. There were people probably talking to these folks. You can hear things being screamed or yelled.
So I guess I could
folks might have crudely scrawled. Sound like troglodytes. Crudely scrawled signs that they can hold up because they're peasants from out the countryside. But yeah, they're terrified. They're kind of screaming for. Oh yeah, I think somebody will have to make some kind of role to find out more about them. But I think there's
it's a defy danger role. Do you think it's a defy danger role to see if the city itself is kind of getting riled up and freaked out?
Yeah, it is. Somebody's got to make this. Somebody's got to make this move.
I think it's Ishi's because it's his.
It's my show line.
All right, here we go. All right, we got an 8 plus 10. Awesome. Yeah, so I think with that. Yogo Sako has said, Yogo Sako will say, we've kept most of the residents of the city back so far, and we've kind of boarded up, locked up this gate. If you'll want to leave, you'll just have to leave through another gate.
Can you really track this demon we're chasing? Because if we go out another gate, there's no saying that it'll be where we expect it to be. If we're delayed.
According to this map, just walk a few hundred yards.
Yeah, there is another gate nearby.
I can try. Yeah, can I? I mean, I don't know.
Just go for the other gate then.
You could try the move of you happen to be right where you need to be.
Okay. I feel like that's bad. I feel like, yep, you're right here. And 15 minutes.
Here's the demon. Well,
yeah. That works.
Alright.
Don't fail this one.
This would be a bad one to fail, my dude.
Oh, okay.
Compared to losing your arm.
Thanks for letting me know ahead of time.
So compared to losing your arm,
go for this random roll.
You only roll one dice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, it's true. See, that's much better.
Pretty good. 11 plus 14. All right.
So, 10 plus I choose 2. I would like to not shirk an important responsibility and happen to be right where I needed to be.
Okay. So that, I think...
Just the important responsibility I had in mind was to just whisper with air comedy to tell my wife and children to get to safety.
Okay.
I could roll to try to hit that air comedy.
No, you're all right. I think that's fine. Just we hear Yugare whisper to them under his breath, and we hear the sound of the wind carrying that, and it echoes. Mizuki is in the house doing something, and she suddenly does and looks off in the distance, and kind of gathers the children to do something specific.
Wherever I sense the demon, just go out the city the other way.
I think what happens is you guys ride out to that other gate, and that other gate, just because of how well both of you rolled on those things, actually people haven't gone to that particular gate. They're mostly focused on that, and they're yelling up at the Thunder Guard, and you can kind of from there go kind of north. But
this gate said, "Please use other gates." So it did, and we were able to.
And you're kind of just skirting just the outside of this mob of peasants, and the peasants are screaming that they want their children back. What are you going to do? Some of them have brought some children, and they want them to be safe within the city, and they're terrified. So this mob is mostly motivated, you can tell, by fear. They do want these children back that have been stolen, but they're motivated mostly by fear. As much as they're trying to get people inside to do something about this, they're also trying to get into the city for safety from their perspective. And Yugare can feel this and figure this out much more than the other people.
It pains him deeply to see that.
Yes, and in fact, the pain, the fear that they have, the fear that the people inside the city have, is acting 100% as a magnet. It's almost, or another way to put it is, it's weighing this city down, and thus other things are rolling towards it. And you are absolutely in the place where you need to be, in that this creature is coming toward the city. It's incensed. It's sloveringly hungry, and this fear and despair and anguish that these grieving families are fearing, and that families inside the city are feeling. You can certainly feel it, if not possibly see it, as something that this creature is possibly even feeding off of, and it's coming to dine at the source. And this creature is not in the forest. Ishi was correct. This creature is coming directly towards the city, but it's right there. And Yugare can definitely see it far before any of the other people. And I think you guys have these horses by now, and Shiba Hoshi is with you. And and it is this massive winged creature that has a huge beak. Yugare can hear it before others can, but soon everybody else can hear it, and it's shrieking. And again, it sounds like a bird was. It sounds like a bird was given a human throat, and it was trying to speak, and it's just screaming out. But it's not flying at all. It's instead crawling with these groping wings that are almost scooping at the dirt, pulling itself forward. At the end of its wings, Yugare can see again, this is the same creature that he faced in the cave, the lunar cave, where it has hands, human-looking hands, gnarled on the ends of each of the wings. The wings, though, are pierced with holes and slashes. It is covered in what is clearly its blood, though its blood is black and thick. And it's pulling itself towards this group. And the wild thing is, if this wasn't crazy enough, this crowd does not seem to see it at all. And this thing is rushing onward toward them. And like I said, Yugare sees this first.
Yeah, so I think I read my
The other people can see this shortly afterward, narratively just after him.
Because I think I rein my horse to a halt. Like, we're riding out to look for it or whatever, and I'm like, stop everyone. It's here. This is where we stop it.
Yeah. And you're still within sight of this crowd at the gate, so you're within sight of the city. You're not far away from it. Mm-hmm. And maybe
how big is this? I think I'll say, do you hear it screams? And there's just silence. And then
it's big, so I imagine when we saw it, it's very
The claws are the size of katana.
Yeah, so take a hawk or an eagle kind of thing and scale its talons up to like katana length, which is like 3.5 to 4 feet long, and so scale that up to that point. So its wingspan outstretched is like, I feel each wing is at least the length of a bus. So it's very, when it's stretched out, it's enormous. When it's not stretched out, it's still pretty freaking massive. Far larger than a person. It's bigger than you.
I think for all Yugare knows, this is the same. Like, it's news to him, but this demon must have been eating children. So.
Seems like
why assume there are 2 demons when
why have there been 2 when there could just be 1?
But so I was like, okay, this is what's left of Soshi Seryoku. Let's end it now.
Yeah, this thing is barreling towards, moving it like at least as fast, if not faster, than like a horse at full gallop toward the city and this crowd.
I mean, I'm imagining that we've like curved around to be like in between.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna dismount and like I'm gonna go wait for it to be in range, basically.
Sure.
Of a lightning bolt.
I'm going to go to the side and try to flank it.
You've got a jade sword.
So,
Knife.
Big knife.
And I think, okay, what are you other guys doing as you're readying yourselves?
How does Anjo feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, not great.
So I'm just going to go fight the demon?
I think in the din of this, as these guys are doing this, so you can't, so others kind of can't hear it. I think Ikomo Yuriko says, it's the one who called it into this world was a tool to be used. Now that she's gone, it's unanchored. It has to be stopped.
Are we the ones to deal with it?
When the knots holding the future have been cut, it's best sometimes left to discard what they're carrying, lest the ship be brought down with it. It's not a very good thing, but basically she's saying she'll basically say that, we got to deal with this. This thing has to be dealt with because
it's going to kill us people.
It can't be manipulated the way Seryoku could be manipulated. Alright, and then what do we see Ishi do?
He's just riding out there. I assume kind of close to Aji's riding out there, right?
So I'm trying to flank. Well, so
it said it's straight towards the city, like straight towards that crowd gathered at the Unicorn Gate.
What about Ishi's former net?
Yeah, probably burying the envoy.
He's burned.
That's true. You're right.
We could say that they were called, and they could perhaps show up later if we want to have them make a dramatic entrance that could explain like really good success.
It's a Goro of the boys.
Yeah.
I'm probably riding out towards it, I suppose.
Are you just riding straight toward it? Okay, so you're riding straight towards it. You're going to try to. Aji's going to try more to flank it. Yugare's dismounted, and he's kind of preparing. Anjo is having that discussion. I think Shiba Hoshi, if you've dismounted, Shiba Hoshi's dismounted as well.
I feel like he probably stays on his horse.
Okay, then Shiba Hoshi stays on his horse as well, but kind of puts himself between you and this thing.
Mm-hmm. Did he see it? Maybe you should just make a run for it. All right.
It's doing time.
I can throw an opening salvo.
Okay.
Go for it, right?
But yeah, so I think that this thing once it gets even remotely into the range of what Yugare is thinking about doing, once he can everybody in the group can absolutely very clearly see this thing, and you guys have begun this creature, I think it shrieks, and it kind of kind of rears back and spreads its wings. And yeah, the massiveness of this thing is exposed. It was big before, and yeah, when it spreads its wings, it's even larger.
Let's see if we can see its skeleton.
Alright.
And throw a lightning bolt.
It's weak. It's flying type.
Okami.
Yeah.
Strike down my bow.
Sure. Dump some of it. We got a 5.
That's an 8.
8, though. That's pretty good.
So I choose 2 and you choose 1.
Yikes.
You get to choose it, he just dies. I don't know, actually. I don't know.
No, I can't choose, it just dies. Oh, can he choose that? Alright, so I'm going to choose that it is far.
Mm-hmm.
And I suffer no harm.
Okay. Sure. And I gotta choose another one of these?
Mm-hmm.
You suffer no harm. I could choose...
It's not me.
Do you want to choose that it's blinding to look upon?
That'd be pretty bad, yeah.
I only rolled an 8, so...
What would be
The worst?
Well, what would be more interesting? That it's blinding to look upon, and we have to...
I probably get blinded.
Yeah, and we have to see if people get blinded, or that it's an... Well, you're shooting it from far away, so the area affecting doesn't make as much sense logically. So the blinding to look upon thing works, causes...
Terror would be about...
It already is really loud, right?
Yeah, so it is super loud. It could also cause terror in observers, and everybody has to like respond to the everybody gets so afraid of
I would
the
probably
amount
say
of power that's being
terror
released.
and observers, because not only does it scary blinding itself, but now this whole crowd hears a loud noise behind them, turns and looks.
Honestly, that's what I'm going to do. Rather than have you guys make any rolls about that. That noise crackles and it hits the creature, and the creature's scream becomes audible to this crowd and to the people at the gate. And this crowd turns into like a mob that wants to get into the city, into a mob that's besieging the city. And I think the Thunder Guard
pushing the gate down.
Yeah, they're trying to clamor over it. They're trying to push it down, and the Thunder Guard react too. And I think they might like treat these people as legitimate hostile element. Like some of the Thunder Guard might straight be like, fuck, and run away. But others might react to them being like, no, these people are now invaders.
Boiling oil down.
Yeah, and they're we're just shoot at them with arrows, like that kind of thing. So there's now like this massacre going on in the background, and but also the people within the city, you just hear more screams going on. I think Anjo, especially, who's like stayed back the most, can hear this kind of chaos.
I think you raised the highest body count now.
Yeah. You really should have rolled a 10 on that.
That's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, good job.
You guys told me to make a good roll last time.
This creature screams with that. And, yeah.
Guess so.
Where do we arrive next?
So we're going to try to shame it into a duel.
Okay.
What stance are you?
Yeah, what stance are you?
I guess I'll go up and stab it.
Okay, well, all right. Well, logically, that does make the most
You
sense.
got the jade knife too, right?
If you're just running directly at it. Yeah.
I didn't ever get off my horse, actually, so I'm galloping towards it.
Yeah,
try to
that's fine.
stab it. Mounted combat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cavalry action.
A little bit of cavalry battle.
That'd have to be a
Because I didn't get to attack Fade.
Oh my god, are you the horse demon?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, 7 plus
2. 9.
9.
You get to choose 2, and I always inflict terrible harm.
What are the things that you're taking in?
Terrible harm, seize what I want, and suffer little harm.
Okay.
You didn't use your katana, you used a giant nail clipper.
Yeah. So,
you got too close.
yeah. So yeah, you can. I'll say that Ishi can maybe do that, like hack off one of this thing's like claws for sure. Does he just charges at it and that happens? All right. He definitely gets hurt in the process too, though.
Suffer a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you?
Any harm is enough.
Oh, you're already dead.
No, I'm not going to. But
Yeah, it's definitely going to do a bare minimum of 1 to you.
past armor, I assume.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is this massive creature.
Armor means nothing in this game.
It's not that it means nothing. It's just that it's like
I did, however, I took 2 harm, and then I got out of my armor, and I took another 2 harm. It's nothing.
So yeah, you definitely suffer.
Yep.
At least 1.
I do suffer. Yeah, I probably suffer.
Oh, did you factor that
So
into
how
your
is-
duel? The Saigo? Your armor?
I did.
Okay. So there you go. You used it once.
Your armor?
Yeah.
You use your armor constantly. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you suffer every time. There's a reason that was the last one to get nearly dead, and then he was like, "No, fuck off, we're just getting hurt."
Well, but yeah. So this creature definitely hurt. Like, how does this creature hurt you? As you're does it hurt you?
Well, I did go right past all the rest of its katana fingers.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of them got me.
I don't know. Maybe the one that gets you, is the one that you're able to hack off. Are you unhorsed? And that's
Probably.
Okay. Eat that fucking horse.
Yeah.
It eats that fucking horse.
It probably just fucking cuts the horse in half.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. It sees you coming up and it rears back on its talons, and the talons kind of come at you, and it grabs the horse, and you're able to hack one off, and it stabs into you. You're able to hack it off, but the horse is just absolutely like putting an egg through an egg harp, like just like that scene in Cell, where it's just like just sliced into like 4 or 5 pieces easily. Aji flanking this thing, and it's definitely got to slow down when it's fighting Ishi or filleting Ishi's horse. It's trusty steed.
-1 or you die.
No matter what happens, I get to at least do one more thing. Whether I die or take a minus 1. I think when you actually become mortally wounded, you're supposed to just be out of the scene no matter what. But I get to stay 1 extra, but I was taking minus 1 to elegance.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah, that's true. Because it says you were mortally wounded. You can survive if you do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's
But
your
this-
move say?
Mine says, when you suffer 6 or more harm, where is it? When you've taken 6 or more harm, you may make 1 additional move before collapsing.
Okay.
Which means you're always supposed to fucking
So,
get shit off you.
but yeah, Aji is attempting to flank this thing. He's still mounted, and he's got this jade Tamto.
Alright, I'm going to try to read the situation.
Absolutely. What do you got?
A 7.
7. Okay.
Pretty good.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Ooh, the demon. So, I mean, there's
Demon's obvious.
yeah, the demon. The demon is the obvious thing, but the bigger deal is you can hurt this thing. You guys can probably hurt this thing, but there's something that summoned it here. There's something that brought it here, and if you don't move quickly, how about this? The thing, your question was, what should I be on the lookout for, right? How about this? The story doesn't fully make sense. You're looking at this thing, and it doesn't look like it was wounded by arrows at all. Like, the Komi Yuriko story doesn't quite make sense. There's something up with what she told you. Like, that doesn't quite work out.
Because I was going to question it, actually, when I first heard it. Because, like, you heard it with non-jade weapons, like, that didn't make sense to me.
So, but it's... Yeah, it doesn't fully... Her story doesn't fully add up. That's maybe not the biggest threat right now, but it's certainly something that you should be on the lookout for of what's her deal. We'll hop over to Anjo. What's Anjo doing?
It's a good question. I feel he's really unequipped to deal with this.
I've seen it all in many years.
Yeah. So maybe what he's going to try and do is, well, still on the horse, he and Hoshi are maybe going to try to ride to this crowd and calm them down just through shouting authoritative phrases at them.
Sure.
Like, shut up! Keep fine.
Sure. That sounds like either a defy danger roll or Because it's not dealing with one person. So would it be a manipulate roll?
I'm better at defy danger.
This feels really weird.
All right, yeah, defy danger works because it's more directly connected to the, like, you're kind of rushing through and trying to do this thing. Plus defy danger is supposed to be kind of the default move. So the danger is that this situation continues to get bloodier. Go for it. We got an 8 people.
So 9 total.
9 total. Damn. Okay. So you guys can push this crowd, like through like the force of will, then push this crowd to get to, essentially to continue north around the city, to kind of like continue northwest around the city. So they're like running away from this demon. They're running away. They're staying near this these walls. But you're encouraging them that this thing is behind them. They got to run around it. They can't get through the walls. And to get them to like leave and go away in that direction. Dramatically, one of two things I think could happen in this process. I think that maybe Hoshi has to continue pushing them, and he thus has to leave you. Like you have to order him, like just move all these people away. Thus meaning like you don't have this bodyguard. Or if we're real Game of Thrones in it, in the process he gets killed by like stray Thunder Guard arrows or something like that.
Oh yeah, that.
Okay. Yeah, so these people are kind of like moving through, and the last little holdouts, the Thunder Guard like pepper down arrows towards them, but they don't recognize Hoshi as who he is, and he's just like killed.
Yeah, like he goes into the crowd and like the shot is from up on the wall. Like,
Yeah.
Who's got a horse? Get that one.
Yeah, there's the leader.
Yeah.
Somebody says that. But the people do it. They're running away. They're still terrified. They still want to get into the city, but they now know at least they have to get away from this part of the city. Like they got to get out of this place if they can't get in. So you've helped the situation a bit. Meanwhile, this demon has kind of regained its stride after absolutely destroying that horse, and it flaps its wings and does almost like a creepy version of a butterfly when it comes out of the cocoon, and it tests the strength of its wings before it flies. It kind of does that, and at least Yugare, you can tell it's getting questionably stronger.
That's the opposite of what we wanted it to get.
Yeah, it's not right.
So it's hurt, but it might be getting stronger. And those two things seem contradictory for sure, and they are. But it seems like it might be getting more potent in some capacities, but also its hunger is growing.
Wait, that one that stole Yugare's kids was like a blood thing, right?
Yeah. There was a blood thing.
Yeah, Henjo was the Mehosukai who was inspired by the Kansen that was spurned by Yugare.
Mm-hmm. Then, as everyone was getting sacrificed, it was like drawing power from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I making that up?
Yeah. Kansen are draw power from bloodshed and some suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody can hop in here. We don't have to stay in the same order.
Yeah. Maybe I need to read the situation.
Sure. All right, Snake Eyes.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Yugare goes to, yeah.
I want to... every time I'm
If you have a suggestion, go for it.
I'm kind of been treating the kami in some way. Like, I want some spiritual guidance. And then there's this thing that could
Oh, yeah.
interrupt it.
Oh, I think that it, I think that you, yeah, you just hear laughter, like mocking laughter in your head, as you like vainly kind of stare at this creature that that paradoxically seems to be like hurt, but also getting more powerful and just being fed by the fear and the suffering that's going on all around it. And you just hear that there's something that's just mocking you, and then soon you feel that same kind of familiar presence of that Kansen that spoke to you so long ago as you stared at that the body of a horse. The same Kansen that like tempted you in Soshi Saryoku's house, and you realize it's followed you, and now it's just laughing at you. It just says you've lost so much, all because you wouldn't let yourself be helped, Yugare. And it finds this hilarious, and it's like very much gloating. It says there's so much gone now. There's been so much suffering, all because you didn't want to know the secret to how to stop it. But I feel that to offer you another dark temptation is old news. We've done that so many times, so I don't want to just do that again. Mm-hmm. I'm contemplating. My initial thought was to say like, oh, if you just kill one of your friends, then I'll help you stop this monster. Like, just kill one of them. You can do that. Even you're capable of that, and then I'll stop this thing. But I feel like that dark temptation stuff, we've gone through that so many times before. So I think that this thing is here. It has to go after Yugare, but I think it almost just does it emotionally. It just shows Yugare Yugare wasn't able to, you weren't able to protect your family. The Scorpion were able to manipulate your wife into being complicit in opium trading, the same thing you were trying to stop. And once it's found out by others, you'll be disgraced. She'll be disgraced. They'll fully control your nieces and nephews, whoever's left back home. Your family will just your smaller family, your part of the Agasha family will just become this almost like slave of them. Meanwhile, all these people in the city are dying because you couldn't stop this monster when it was in its adolescence, and now that it's shown up fully matured, you're ill-equipped to do so, relying on incompetence and relying on incompetence and people you can't trust. So I think it just kind of lays all of this out, just lays this on him really, really heavily. And I don't know if there's any kind of mechanical anything or any kind of move, but I just think as in the TV show, we just hear him being hit with all this stuff. And it's very clear that that's the whole time. Oh, here's what it is. This Kansen, you realize, had been the thing holding you somewhat together just so it could point this out to you. It's that nasty. And now it's bye. See you later. And we see Yugare's face go real, real pale, and the bandages get real bloody again. And I think he kind of maybe has to lean against the horse as all of a sudden his blood pressure drops crazy low, and he's having trouble standing, having trouble focusing on anything, as it's oh yeah, that's right, I was dying here before this thing helped me out.
Yeah, that was the worst read a situation result.
Was the situation shitty?
It's pretty bad, dog. It's a pretty bad.
I'll tell you, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so I think that occurs.
That's some dog voice.
All right, who's next?
mean, come on. You won't use the shadow hands?
I think this
to his advantage.
this creature starts to like I said, it was stretching its wings and it's starting to flap these wings, and there's enough like dirt and sand and whatnot being kicked up like from around the road that like there's almost like clouds of dust kind of being thrown up as this thing is flapping these wings with greater and greater force.
You got this.
Come on, Branden.
And yeah, I think it's becoming increasingly clear that this thing's not far off from being able to take flight again. And once this thing takes flight, it can easily not only hop over this wall, but get anywhere it wants to go. It's a giant flying pterodactyl in the Middle Ages. It can get wherever it needs to.
We'll try to stab it in the heart with its own.
You're going to try to use its own claw as a weapon?
Yeah, let's stab it right in its heart.
Okay. Sure. Go for it. That's definitely a battle roll.
How do you know where the heart is?
Yeah, that's true.
Do I need to read a situation?
I mean, you could get a +1, but you could also just go for it.
Probably not to, but I feel like it's going to fly away, so. It's pretty bad.
What do we get?
It's a 7.
7.
Okay. Same as a 9. So.
Okay.
Better than a 6.
Better than a 6. Sees what I want. Suffer a little harm, inflict terrible harm.
Okay. So again, you stab deep into this creature, and black ichor sprays all over you. Would you want this roll to not be a 7 and instead be something higher?
Honestly, I don't know what a 10 in battle roll gives me.
Well, do you have battle advance?
No, I don't.
What? Okay.
I only had 1 advancement. I was a detective before now. All right.
Hold on one second.
It's a re-situation.
Okay. So, yeah. All right.
This isn't supposed to be my life anymore.
Yeah. So, you stab this thing up into this creature, and blood just pours all over you. And I think, so you're definitely going to end up taking some kind of damage from this. It's a battle, like it is fighting back against you. But go ahead and make a.
I wish I had the feeling to make the whole arm. I really should have that final advancement. It's actually not that great.
There it is. Go ahead and roll.
Oh yeah, okay.
Roll. It says just roll plus taint gained.
So am I gaining
so in this
one
case, you're gotta be gaining at least 1. As this thing, nasty, corrupted blood sprays all over you.
It's better to roll low on that one.
Yeah, sorry.
Nope,
But you get a 9. Okay. 7 to 9, you can choose one. These effects last for 1 scene.
No, that's not bad.
That's not too bad.
It's 1 scene.
This whole Yugare's never done, so you won't even notice.
This actually works to a certain degree. So you gained an additional rank of Shadowlands Corruption, but
that's not what it's called in this game.
Yeah,
it's fun.
But I think very clearly, like as you get one step closer to this, you hear that voice in your head that just says. It just basically says, you're going to die, Ishi. It says that, and you hear the hunger on its voice. It says, you're going to die, Ishi. And I can help you save all those others. Why not? Why not? Oh, it says, days added to damnation are nothing.
It's got a point.
There's nothing wrong here,
yeah, and so you just feel this incredible urge, and I think the creature itself, kind of like the flying Oni no Seryoku, which is what this is, goes to it kind of stumbles forward. It's wounded for sure, but it's kind of beginning to do the thing like a hop, like a big clumsy bird, and it's spilling out a lot of this blood, and it leaves you alone and just moves forward. And you hear the voice of Oni no Ishi, and it says
you can be, like, you can be as strong as you need to be. But you can have good people like those. You can be the hero that saved this city.
What it's basically at this point saying is like, take one more rank of Shadowlands Taint.
That's your last one.
Yeah, that's your last one. Like your character will become lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and basically it's saying like, I'll kill this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me the one more step of power I need. I'll kill this. You don't even need to worry about it. You'll be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
A lost hero.
Not a hero at all, probably. Yeah. Doesn't matter. She should just die. I don't know. What do you guys think?
What would your family say?
We can do.
Well,
What do we think would be the best like scene here for this to happen? Like that not only like will be a good like if Ishi
What
is going
happens
away
to lost like people?
in this, they go to like.
Do they just go straight to hell?
Well, you could essentially just be like become like a raving lunatic, or could become like a monster of in yourself, or we could just say like, oh, he just dies and goes to hell, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like the monkey's paw. You kill the monster by turning into a pterodactyl monster to kill it.
Yeah, and that's definitely not what you should want.
Well, if he just chooses to die, it's because he rejected the last point of taint.
It's because I rejected the
So there
final.
should be like a minor like redemption to that.
Because especially I've known that other guy, God, whatever they're called, the guy that stole Yugare's children.
Oh, Ishi now, yeah.
No, that's not true. I think he is like a Mansu guy. Those kind of people are kind of like lost people almost, right?
Oh, that's still Yugare's children.
Not
Henjo.
the rest of the children.
Henjo, yeah, sorry, I thought you meant that's still your. I heard the wrong name. I apologize. So, yeah.
That's like kind of like a lost person, right?
Yeah, sure. We don't know what his like rank of Shadowlands
that's,
was, but
that's definitely something Ishi would not.
Oh, yeah. If you
And
get,
Ishi can definitely feel this is very much his last minutes.
I mean, definitely if you give Onino Ishi the last bit of stuff he needs, he'll just be the next pterodactyl, basically.
Yeah, so Ishi would probably just. I could refuse. Yeah, I could
But
refuse and rather die.
What's more important, your soul or the city of Ryoko Owari?
At this moment, I mean, Ishi's soul's already gone, and he fears that becoming a monster will ruin all the work he's done. He's tried to do everything he's done, including taking on his taint, becoming more demonic, was to either protect the city or to protect the people he cared about.
So you think that
Most everything.
you think these other kids can take care of the
No, probably not, but definitely want to become the next
Okay.
generation.
So, all right. So, but that sets us up for something. So, what does Ishi do? So Ishi rejects this creature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that then gives someone else an advantage to do something to stop it.
Okay.
What is it that Ishi? What is Ishi finally, like once and for all, in the last moment where it matters, rejecting the deal from this Oni? That at least on screen we could like go out and be like, okay, he wasn't totally lost. That like he died, he was very corrupted, but he wasn't totally lost.
I feel like the sacrifice Ishi can make is if Aji's around, taking the dagger, like he's like holding on to this creature to stab it in his heart because it's like moving like this. It's fucking huge.
Sure.
Taking the jade dagger that will kill him to try to do something against the creature when the audience knows Ishi can do whatever with this demon power. Like he's been nearly dead and then pulled a man out of something. It's never stopped him before.
Alright.
But trying to do it with his own power.
The creature, it is about to push off the ground and begin flying. It's kind of like hopped a bit. Maybe Ishi is holding on to this thing, and it stoops in front of Aji to scream at him before it's going to use its wings to like lift itself up off the ground, and it's going to get into the air. And so this is like this kind of last moment that if Aji, and we can maybe have Aji make a roll to see how this goes with like a benefit from what Ishi had done to basically get this thing to Ishi to strike this last blow against this creature.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I feel that this is
on the edge.
I feel that this is a defy danger roll as well.
Not die.
And the danger is like this thing gets away, or this thing gets up in the air. So, and I think what's your bold?
The bold's +2.
+2.
This is +3.
It was +3, and now it's +2.
So yeah, so let's say you got a plus. Let's say you got. I know this is goofy, but let's say you got a +4 to this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's usually past the regular limit, but. All right, well, it's a 10.
Damn.
Plus my 4?
Yeah, +4. All right.
Even you have an advantage.
So yeah, go ahead and you guys tell us how this goes.
I think if you throw the dagger to me, it definitely.
You call for it?
Yeah, I would call for your dagger.
Knowing that.
And you know that everything I touched has like harmed me.
Well, knowing that, like, distance-wise, it's probably not gonna I'm not gonna gallop on my horse and go there. I'm gonna try to throw the dagger at the demon. It's gonna land right next to Ishi.
Alright, yeah.
The demon.
I think when Ishi grabs it, I think it just like burns Ishi to the core.
Oh,
like it is.
Maybe his hand bursts into flames.
I would say it leaves like nothing behind. Like his like arm turns to ash as he's stabbing this thing.
Okay.
And there's just almost nothing left.
All right.
Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Is that like, did you throw it into the demon?
Yeah, I think he chucked it at the demon to like.
So I think maybe it goes into the demon, and then Ishi's like latched onto it, and he looks at it, and he grabs it and shoves it in as his arm just like.
Sure.
For his cliffhanger.
Yeah, yeah. So we see this. What is the scene of this demon dying? You stab into it, and your arm turns into that, and we almost see it like kind of travel down you, almost like a fuse. And after it's covered all of you, and you're maybe clutched in one of its talons. Like it goes up the talon, and the creature kind of stumbles, and it starts to like writhe about, trying to move forward, and it can't get away from its own body, just burning up essentially. And we see it, like a fuse or like a match, where it just kind of goes to that, and the last thing is just that tongue that's almost alive, air quotes, and it's screaming and screaming and screaming, and then even that kind of like is burned out, and there's just the husk that sits there. And we hear like the clatter of all this stuff off in the distance, and as the dust clouds from this thing kind of like settle, they're then pushed by a breeze, and eventually just the breeze pushes this dust away. And I think that the only thing left are that jade knife and one thing from Ishi. Oh, we see the katana is there, and either the katana or the wakizashi on the Seiya is scratched in like the names of his family.
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah,
and so that's been there the whole time. We've just never seen it.
That's pretty good.
All right. So the scene kind of like fades over that image of Ishi's Seiya.
As Agasha Yugare watched his companions kill Oni no Serioku, his face was ashen and his eyes glazed over. The evil spirit, the Kansen, that had been keeping him from bleeding out or going into shock left him, laughing at his suffering. It flew off to find someone who would accept its offers of knowledge and power in exchange for blood. Yugare collapsed. As his vision blurred and he faded in and out of consciousness, a woman appeared before him. The wrinkles on her face suggested that she was ancient, but her eyes shone bright with youth, bright like the sun. "Priestess Mayo?" Shh. Shh, my child, she says to Yugare. You don't have the strength to waste. Her bright eyes, the eyes Yugare saw when he was brought back after a warehouse roof collapsed on him, look over his broken and bleeding form, his missing arm, the scarred body of a man that had always tried to do right. I can't help you, my child. I already brought you back once. My powers can't help to heal you. After months of bed rest, Agasha Yugare takes his first steps with the help of the crutches that he will need for the rest of his life. Through with this city that had done nothing but tempt him and endanger his family, Yugare submits his resignation letter to the Emerald Champion. Despite Asako Anjo's insistence that Yugare's connection to the kami and investigative mind could continue to be useful regardless of his bodily ailings, the champion, understanding that not all wounds and worries are physical, accepts his resignation. His trip home is long and difficult. Dragonlands are distant and tough terrain. The only thing that seems to keep Yugare and his family's will together is their desire to be home again, their desire to be rid of the corruption of Ryoko Owari. As the years go by in far-off Agasha lands, the horrors of the City of Lies seem to fade. With the Shosuro cartel weakened, his sister-in-law slowly abandons her efforts to bring opium into Dragonlands and instead focuses on her regency, relying heavily on Yugare's counsel. While time cannot heal all wounds, it seems to mend this relationship that had once been so fraught. On his deathbed, at a ripe old age, Yugare slips into the realm of the ancestors surrounded by his family. His wife and children light incense as a priest prays. The smoke, hanging in the air far longer than normal, seems to form a shape. Perhaps it's a dragon, but in all the paintings, in all the stories, don't dragons have more limbs than that? 2 arms in the front. It's years later. We see a large figure, face covered by the hood of a cloak, staring up at the Dragon Mountains.
New hunting grounds.
The figure thinks to itself as it draws back its hood. The face of Hida Ishi stares up at the mountains. His hair is black, his skin is young. He lacks the marks that the life of a warrior would have left him. This is not Hida Ishi, but the Oni that took his name.
You'll never find me here.
It thinks to itself.
Just a few more, and no mortal force, no mere priests or green stones will be able to stop me.
Storm clouds form around the tall mountains. First they churn into a tempest, but soon Oni no Ishi can see a shape. A dragon. A booming voice rings down at the Oni, speaking out its crimes, condemning it for its corruption of good men, of children. The expression on the face that we have long known as Hida Ishi, now the monster wearing his name, can only be described as absolute shock. With a crack of thunder, the one-armed dragon formed of lightning and clouds descends upon the creature, bringing against it the full force of the realm of heaven. We see a dying Agasha Yugare smile at this life he saw before his eyes. Outside the city walls of Ryoko Owari, Priestess Mayo, kneeling over him, knew that she could not save his life. She had brought him back to life once before. Now all she could do at this moment was let him see the life he wanted. Yugare was a good man, a conflicted man, but a good man. She had watched too many of them in this city be led astray. She remembers Yugare's commitment to fighting the darkness he saw around him. She can't allow his commitment to good to be merely the hollow dream of a dying man. Priestess Mayo has lived in Ryoko Owari far longer than anyone had known, far longer than humans ever lived. As an acolyte of the sun goddess, she had a connection to certain powers, but now those powers must be used to try to make the rest of Yugare's vision true.
Hiru, kind of discussing about the death of Saigo, but she was ultimately he did his job. So the last thing he was tasked to do was to create discord throughout the Unicorn clan, to punish Baronado for burning the opium fields.
In a conversation with the Emerald Champion Doji Satsumi, Asako Anjo recommends what is to be done with the living magistrates of Ryoko Owari.
But did you consider my other suggestion of sending Aji to Rokugan, Siberia? He's like, also approved or something.
Oh yeah,
It's like the farthest place you can get from opium on the continent. That's where I suggest him to go.
I think he'll.
Is it Phoenix Lands?
Shinjo Yoshifusa committed seppuku without ever knowing his son had been murdered by Bayushi Saigo in an attempt to control the Unicorn clan from the shadows. Only a few weeks afterward, Ide Baranado was recalled to Unicorn lands. In a sprawling complex of tents, the Unicorn champion Shinjo Yukatsu awaits Baranado. With him are Asako Anjo and Ikomo Yuriko. Yukatsu is seated in a Gaijin-style chair. The other two kneel on the floor in the Rokugani style. Baranado bows to each of them. Shinjo Yukatsu is described the empire over as a man whose foreign customs put him at ill ease in the courts of Rokugan, where lying and subterfuge are accepted. It's the Ide family that for their 200 years back in Rokugan have been the diplomats, the courtiers, the schemers of the Unicorn. Yukatsu's usually cheerful mood is instead the stern expression of the cavalry master he is at heart. Your plots in that den of sin couldn't stay hidden forever. Baranado does not even look up. You organized a conspiracy that threatened to spark a war between the Unicorn and Scorpion clans, put our position in Ryoko Owari at risk. Your kinsmen died in dishonorable quarrels, or while masquerading as Scorpion, or acting as common thieves. You supported Fade's bandits who struck against the Emperor's roads and agents, and your little plot threatened the peace and stability of the entire empire. Your actions were dishonorable, Baranado-san. Dishonorable and reckless. At this, Baranado does look up at his lord. Reckless? I have a son myself, and I understand why you did what you did. Rising from his high-backed chair, Yukatsu approaches Baranado, placing a hand on his shoulder. Your son did not poison himself. It was they who fed it to him. That's why I struck out against you. You misunderstand your lord, Ikomo Yuriko interjects. They didn't merely create the poison. They force-fed your eldest son the opium that killed him. His death was not just a tragedy. It was murder. The Scorpion control the opium trade, my friend, Yukatsu says to Baranado as the Ide clenches his fists and closes his eyes in anger. They killed your son, as they have killed and cheated so many others. You are not guilty in my eyes, Baranado-san. I too would have done the same had I your prowess in these matters. I'm not to be punished? Baranado asks. Your ability in organizing against friends, with that Yukatsu spits on the floor, could be put to good use, to bring justice to the Empire, though quietly. With this, Anjo and Yuriko stand. They hold out a small knotted string and a wakizashi, respectively. Will you help us further tighten the knots of the law, or would you rather join your son and your nieces and atone with your death? The look on Shinjo Yukatsu's face is that of a general who wishes to inspire his men, a father truly concerned about the welfare of his children, a man incapable of lying. Yukatsu has cultivated this fiction for years, using Rokugani assumptions so well that his own clan bought the lie. Being underestimated has helped him to become one of the masters of the Kolat, and helped him conceal from Baranado, a man of tremendous ability, that the Kolat, and not the Scorpion, were the ones who killed his eldest son and sent the old Ide down this bloody road of vengeance. Ide Baranado's eyes move back and forth between the objects as he weighs the choice he must make. The steady beat of hoof falls outside the great tent fades into the pounding of his heart.
Bayushi Yukari finishes her sake in one gulp. It was a simple act she might do without thinking, back in her old home among the crane. Here, surrounded by her husband's family and their spies, if she weren't alone in her room, rumors would swirl that she was drunk and likely an unfit mother
to Jinko and Kageko. The last few years since Taiyo's death, Hikari has had to watch every step she's made. She and her father-in-law, the daimyo, have been in a constant battle over the future of her children. She has waged war as only a crane could, through cutting words, gifts, and well-timed raised eyebrows, but she hasn't been a crane for nearly a decade now. And tonight, she waged war as only the scorpion do. As she waited on her servants to bring back her children, she reread the letter she received that morning.
You call me your late husband's dearest friend, but he was there during my family's worst tragedies. He left me nothing while I went out of my way to protect him and pay him far more than he deserved. Your only family prospered from my generosity, and yet you ask more all these years later? But I think I will honor your request, Bayushi Hikari. Lest I haven't made myself clear, this isn't out of any sort of kindness or respect. No. This will be my final revenge against the person that called themselves Taiyo. If you think the City of Lies has become safer or less corrupt since you left, you're a bigger fool than I took you for. I will take back my honor, as I should have long ago, and I will bequeath what is left of my estate in Ryoko Owari to you and your twins. May it give you all the joy it has brought me. Your cousin, Bayushi Korichika.
Hikari can't help but smile. Korichika thinks he's cursed her, but he's provided her perfect escape. Now that her disgusting father-in-law has taken a new wife, it would only be a matter of time before he fathers a new heir, which would put a target on both of her sons. She had hoped her son's training would be completed before she set her plans into motion, but they are eager learners. Starting over in the City of Lies is exactly what they need. It will be refreshing to live merely among drug peddlers again. The sound of her door sliding open interrupts her fantasy. She stands up and dismisses the servants as her sons arrive. My beautiful boys. Hikari straightens Jinko's silver hair and Kageko's raven hair. What is it, mother? You look so happy, Kageko says. She nods. So perceptive. You two will do fine in the City of Stories. Are we moving? No, Kageko. Grandfather would never allow it, Jinko says. You're both right, she says. Hikari takes her son's hands and leads them outside to the garden. They could hear his groans before they saw him in the moonlight. Her father-in-law writhes in the dirt under an ancient cherry tree. The blood from his mouth, eyes, and ears has matted fallen pink petals to his face like some gruesome child's toy. The twins consider him in silence until he notices Hikari.
You,
he chokes out at her.
defiler, degenerate.
The twins let go of their mother's hands and look up at her. It's difficult for her to judge their expressions in the darkness. It looks like some assassin has poisoned your grandfather, she says without surprise or emotion. The old man coughs more blood onto the ground.
You murdered my son. And dressed my daughter up as your husband. You whore.
Hikari sneers down at the man as her sons study her. Is that true, mother? She stares into her father-in-law's bleeding eyes, but speaks to her sons. Your father's brother was a lecherous drunk. Your father killed him because that bad man disrespected me, and your father loved me so. The people in Ryoko Owari are disrespecting the works your father did and questioning his honor, Hikari says. The man on the ground makes another choking sound. Your grandfather just disrespected me and your father tonight, and every day that we've been here, she says. The two twins look down at the dying man. Don't you two love me too? The twins simultaneously take a step toward their grandfather, and then another. No, wait, she says. She walks over to the man and takes off his daisho, the one he unceremoniously took back when her husband was killed. She hands the katana to her sons and walks back and watches. The assassin's work is done. It would be a mercy to end his suffering, Hikari says. The old man tries to protest, but only blood comes out of his mouth as his eyes grow wide in terror. The moon illuminates the satisfied grin on her face. Now take turns. Save some for your brother. Yes, they will do fine in Ryoko Owari.
I almost feel like it's something about how the city eventually gets back to its old ways. There's a new magistrate in town that we don't really know, but we see him going into a meeting with the governor and the other two heads. Or the other head, and I guess at this point they probably kept the same power. No, I would say it goes back almost exactly the way it went before we showed up. So it's a magistrate going into a meeting with the governor and the other two heads, the Shosuri family and the
Bayushi family, the cartels.
Yeah.
Sure. Ooh, yeah, so there's... Ooh, maybe it is years and years later, and do you think Hyobu is still alive?
Maybe she's... Maybe it's another Yosafusa thing, where she's still in control.
Well, it was already that way, kind of, to some degree, but like, oh, what if we see Jocho like a little bit older, and he's like walking her somewhere, and she's retired, but she still hangs around the thing, and she's like very, maybe this is 10, 15 years, and she was already supposed to be an older woman for sure, and she's retired, and then Jocho sits in a meeting with the new magistrate, and then we haven't met many other Bayushis. Nope. We can just say that.
Oh no, you're right. My idea for that, this is working to what I was thinking too, is maybe it's like the what is it, the Soshi? Maybe there's like they replaced the Soshi with someone, and then it turns and it's like two very young, like teenagers, and they're like, oh, we both represent the Bayushi family, and it's like Taiyo's children.
Okay, interesting.
So we're here to finish what our father started.
Yogo Osako stomps into her office and sits at her desk, a tangle of curled scrolls, maps, and inkwells. She stares at the door with her common blank expression until the servant in the corner politely clears his throat and steps forward. There was an urgent message delivered from the governor. Osako stares past him as he approaches her desk.
What does Hyobu want?
I'm sorry, mistress. It was sealed with a Shosuro chop. Osako's face brightens for the first time since she entered the office. Perhaps for the first time in days. She stands up and grabs the scroll with the speed of a duelist. As she reads, her smile slowly melts away, and she sinks back into her chair. She carefully hands the scroll back to her servant.
Destroy this.
Oh, I'm sorry, mistress. I apologize, but the new Emerald Magistrate was insistent that I tell you that the bandit Fade has attacked another Scorpion shipment, and that she has reason to believe he was secretly in the employ of Ide Baronato. Asako's expressionless face cracks for just a second to sneer.
So, more baseless rumors. If 4 magistrates couldn't catch this idiot, why do they think one can?
I'm not sure, mistress. Should I ask the magistrate?
No. Tell her nothing. I'm done holding the hand of these Emerald Magistrates.
There are still people waiting to see you, mistress. What shall I tell them?
Dismiss them all. I'd like to get some work done sometime today.
As the door slides shut, Asako finally allows her face to relax. She pushes aside the carpet of scrolls and puts her head down on the edge of her desk. She takes off the band of fabric that masked her eyes and stares at the floor. She bites her lip, hoping to stop it from shaking. It's a difficult job to do good in a place like this, an unearthly voice says. Osako wipes her eyes before retying her mask and sits back up. Her office is empty.
Who's there?
Only a spirit saddened by your predicament.
Akami? Why would you help me?
I too know the sting of rejection. I once offered another magistrate my aid, but was turned down. You seem more deserving. Perhaps I could help with this outlaw.
I don't care about Fade. He's the Emerald Champion's problem.
Then what do you care about, child? She knows she should banish the obviously evil spirit, but she thinks of Jocho and hesitates. A poisonous silence stands between them.
There is an unspoken love blossoming between me and the governor's son, and she forced him to reject me.
The air thickens across Asako's desk. It darkens into a shape not quite human. I can fix that governor problem. The outlaw problem, too. Any problem that troubles you, child. If you're willing to pay one modest price. Asako doesn't let her face show her excitement.
What price?
You know the price. The darkness before her leans closer, and the word leaves her mouth as if on its own accord.
Blood.
Later, Yogo Asako wondered if it was more surprising to her to see a shadow smile, or that she found herself smiling back at it.
We see a scene of Aji getting sent to some really distant, really shitty locale. He's the magistrate over the Sparrow clan, are known for being really, really poor and indulging in the fact that they're poor, and it's thought of as such a terrible, shitty position that that it's more of a punishment than anything else. And so maybe he's there, and then we see him retire, and we see him head on back to Crane Lands, and we see he's totally retired, and he's I'm done being a duelist, done being blah blah blah. I'm retiring to a monastery, and he's at this monastery, and we see him kind of praying and doing that kind of thing, and then the sun goes down, and we see Aji just go get up, pop on a basket hat, and head out. And then we see an area that's very clearly a brothel, and he just heads over there.
It's the monk the whole time.
And he was the monk from the beginning.
What's that line? None of us are getting any younger.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody out there. I want to thank the poor sound quality. I want to thank the weird sounds in the background. Frying chicken, you know who you are. Ukulele music, you know who you are. Thank you so much. I want to thank nobody remembering any of the NPC names. Oh, of course, I can't forget to thank my own inability to let go of narrative control. And I want to thank, of course, whatever game Toan was playing the entire time we were doing this. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. City of Lies is Toan as Kakita Aji, Branden as Hida Ishi, David as Bayushi Taiyo, Andrew as Agasha Yugare, and Austin as your Game Master. The theme music for City of Lies is Mission of Danger by Lobo Loco. This American Dice Ryoko Owari City of Lies uses the City of Lies box set by Greg Stolz, published by Alderac Entertainment Group. The mechanics used is a modified PBTA system by Brendan Taylor of Galileo Games. Join us next time for more This American Dice. Additional music for this episode includes Winter is Coming Adagio by Dan Yan Key, Q5, Dark, Somber, Sad, Spooky, Ambient by Solaflare, Churchy by Coven, and of course an extra dose of our theme music, Mission of Danger by Lobo Loco. You can find all these bands out there on the internet, so check them out. Hey everybody, if you could please rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher, it would really help This American Dice. And for every 5-star review we receive, we'll read it on air. Join us next week for another episode of This American Dice.
You're able to hack it off, but the horse is just absolutely putting an egg through an egg harp, just that scene in Cell, where it's just just sliced into 4 or 5 pieces easily.
J-Lo walks through it.
Yeah, it's very erotic. Yeah, that was the erotic part. Were we watching the same movie? She plans a wedding in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
All right.
Selena was a great film.